All right, hello. I'm going to be interviewing my friend today. We're going to talk about healthcare and the budget and the debt, the $14 trillion debt. So, David, um, what do you think about universal healthcare? What do you think about Obama's new plan? Do you think we should repeal it, or do you think we should just keep it the way it is?
Well, here's the thing about healthcare. The fact is, our country is very low compared to other countries in the developed world as far as health care goes. Other countries like Canada, Britain, and France have government health care, and they have better healthcare systems than we do. Millions of people are uninsured and can't get a doctor because of the fact that they can't pay for health insurance. And even the people who can pay for health insurance often have their doctors tell them that their insurance won't cover whatever it is that they have because doctors who work for the insurance companies actually get paid more when they tell people their insurance won't cover it. So I do think that at some point, government should provide health care for the public of America, but not at this point because of our current state of the economy. The fact is, unfortunately, we owe a lot of money to China. There's a huge deficit right now, and we're not in the condition to start paying for for medical equipment and people to have operations and stuff like that. Our economy just isn't that good. So what we need to do is fix our economy, make things better, and like any other recession, eventually things will stabilize. Hopefully.
How do you think we should fix our economy? What do you think we should do?
Well, that's another debate. I mean,
All right. Well,
but as soon as we figure out what to do with our economy, then then we probably should start putting money into paying uh, for people's medical issues.
that makes sense. But all right, so here's the thing: the way we should fix our economy is to stop regulating businesses and start letting the business owners make their own decisions instead of the government coming in and bailing out many businesses. Let the businesses go bankrupt, and I mean, because regulating businesses is not going to help them get any better, is what I think.
So
What do you think about that?
I agree. The bit that when we bail them out,
It only encourages bad behavior because
yeah,
they think they
it
can
does.
get away with anything. And it's not doing any good to any Americans. It's just making the companies feel like they're invincible, and then I mean,
Well,
it's also turning off investors because nobody wants to invest money into a company that keeps getting bailed out by the government. Like for example, AIG or GM. Nobody. I mean, personally, as an American, I wouldn't invest in either one of those companies, despite the fact that the government keeps bailing them out. I think AIG's been bailed out twice now, so
well,
I wouldn't want to invest in those companies. I mean I personally would want to invest in something that doesn't have anything to do with the government. What if you're an investor, what would you think you would invest in? What
well,
business do you think is
it's
good?
just, well, I mean, getting bailed out by the government, it really does seem to show a lack of maturity, really, with these companies that they're doing so poorly that they can't help themselves on their own. They need the government to help them. I mean, if they're in that bad of shape, then they probably won't make the right investments with the money that the government gives them anyway. So why bother?
I mean, you see GM, their CEO, who the government fired. He as you know, President Hu came over from China in a commercial Air China airplane, whereas the when the president goes to visit China, he's got a whole slew of he's got Air Force One and he's got all sorts of plane escorts, and it really shows that, I mean, even though we're in debt to China, we're still spending a lot more money than they are on stuff like planes and bailouts. When the CEO of GM had the same problem,
Well,
he was buying stuff he couldn't afford. He was making his salary higher, and his workers were getting a lot less money. He was instead of the government originally told him, you got to stop flying on private airplanes. Just take a commercial jet. And these CEOs are actually being very irresponsible. But I don't think it's the government's responsibility to bail them out. I think it's their job. Their company should go out of business. And if nobody wants to buy them out, the government shouldn't regulate this stuff. They shouldn't encourage bad behavior.
well, the problem with the overspending that you're talking about is that America has, for so long, thought of itself, and
As the world
rightfully
power.
so, as the greatest power in the world. And because of that, we've felt like we could basically buy anything we wanted to without worrying about the consequences. And we still have that mentality to some degree, which is why a lot of these agencies are spending more than they really should and needing bailouts and thinking they can use these bailouts to spend more, and why the government also thinks they can spend as much as they want. And China, 20 years ago, their economy
Was not so good.
yeah, it wasn't that great, and they've built up a mentality of knowing how to save and spend wisely. So they have the right mentality from the previous bad economy that they had.
That makes sense. All right, this has been an interview with David, and I'll be back. I'll put up another update sometime within the next week, and have a great rest of the weekend. And if anyone's watching this, then good for you.